So for a long time now, those of us on the left have not really talked about Barron Trump, and I think rightfully so. He was underage during Donald Trump's presidency, and there was no need in my mind to go after him or say anything about him because Don Jr. and Eric was giving us plenty of material if we wanted to talk about Trump's kids. So for the longest time, Barron was off base, but now he's 18 years of age. He was almost a delegate until Melania stepped in and said, no, he's not coming. But then recently at a rally, Trump introduced him and the crowd went wild. I want you guys to take a look at this, and we're going to talk more about Barron and his sudden rise to fame.
Look at him.
So that happens, and the next thing you know, Maga takes to Twitter to talk about, oh, what a great political future this kid's got. Oh, Barron Trump, 2044. It's as though Donald Trump anointed his kid just by mentioning him at a rally and him standing up and giving a wave. You can't tell me that this ain't cult-like behavior. It absolutely is, because I can't count the times growing up that I would have arguments with people about the Kennedys. Anytime, like when John Jr. was being talked about and was starting to rise to fame, there was people saying, well, he can't be president, man. He don't have no experience. Just because he was born into wealth don't mean he's experienced. Hell, they even said that about Teddy Kennedy. I remember arguing with people in my family about Teddy Kennedy and them going, well, he's just the brother of JFK. Doesn't mean he's smart. Doesn't mean he's anybody. And now they're sitting back anointing this 18-year-old kid who's never worked an honest day in his life, never walked down a dirt road, never had a callus on his hands, never had sweat on his brow, ain't even went to college yet. But they think he has some sort of bright political future. And in this clip right here, Donald Trump talks about how he's young. Boy, he's young. I don't know how that makes you any better than anybody else, but in Trump's world, it does. Take a look.
Well, to me, that's very cute because he's a very young guy. And he's graduating from high school this year. He's a very good student, very smart. And I think that's great. I think it's very interesting, too. But he's pretty young, I will say.
Barron may be a smart kid. I don't know whether he is or not, but I don't know what him being young has to do with anything unless Trump's trying to go ahead and plant the seeds in everybody's mind that once I'm gone, you're going to have this young kid of mine who can take over and run things, and I will never understand why people in my part of the world would be for an 18-year-old kid who's never even been to college yet. Suddenly, they think he could lead this country. That's the problem that we're in now, is because they turned over the government to an outsider like Trump, who have manipulated and twisted the system to his benefit this entire time. I will never understand the idea of let's turn this thing over to someone who's inexperienced. Let's turn this thing over to someone who doesn't know what they're talking about. In what world does that make sense? It doesn't. And it's very cult-like that they're already trying to anoint this kid to be the leader in the future when he has no experience at life yet. What kind of responsibilities has he had as a kid? What did he have to do growing up to prove anything? And when you look at the future and you look ahead, you're saying that, oh, he's got a bright political future ahead of him because Trump's his dad? Really? Trump? The convicted felon? The sexual abuser? The guy that was found guilty of fraud? You're going to try to carry on that legacy? You're going to try to walk a mile in that dude's shoes? We've had juniors in the past. We've had people like Dale Earnhardt Jr. that had to go out there and follow in the footsteps of his dad and try to live up to that name. You had Hank Williams Jr. who went out there and tried to live up to his dad. And the difference there is that those men all had talent, and that talent was hereditary. It came down, and here they are. But what has Trump passed on down to his kids except how to be grifters and con artists? And we've already saw what one Trump presidency would look like, because he was an inexperienced dude that didn't understand how the system works. And now you're going to put his kid out there just because he's his kid? Just because he's 6'8" and he's good looking, you're going to say that kid's got a bright future? Folks, this is a cult. It's just plain as day. It's a cult. Because just because if a Democrat came out and said, here's my kid, I'm not going to be like, oh, wow, cool. Well, what's the kid know? How smart is the kid? What kind of experience does the kid have in life? Tell us that before you go out here pushing them to the moon trying to make them a superstar. It's ridiculous to me, their love for Trump, that they would sit back and cheer for a kid that ain't never even been to college yet, has no experience in life yet. But they turned the government over to him. They'd probably turn it over to him tomorrow. I'm sure if Trump got in and made a new rule that Barron could run, they would all run out to vote for him. And they would just turn it over from one old man that didn't know what he was doing to a young kid that didn't know what he was doing, and then sit back and wonder why everything burned down around him. It's absolutely crazy to me that hard-working people are latched on to this rich, wealthy family who have done nothing but grift. They've insulted their audience in every possible way by selling them Bibles, by selling them sneakers, by selling them mugshots, by selling them jewelry, by selling off animals. I mean, they've done every possible grift under the sun that one could think of. And no matter how much they grift, no matter how much they insult Maga's intelligence, they will line up and sit back and be okay with it. And folks, it's something that will always have me scratching my head. We've all sat here on this channel for so long trying to figure out how can he insult his crowd to their face the way he does and say to them, don't have a heat stroke, don't pass out because I need your vote. I don't care about you, I just need your vote. He can actually say that to them and they will line up and get behind him. Makes no sense to me. And to see right-wing podcasters out there now suddenly getting all excited about Barron Trump, like we can't wait for him to take over. It just shows their cult-like mentality. It shows that they are in a cult. And it shows the rest of us that, folks, we have to really buckle down now harder than ever to vote because this ain't going away. We can kick the can down the road. You know, we could save democracy in 2024 and we could stop Project 2025 from happening in 2025. But they're sitting there ready to go. They're going to line up someone else to take that mantle. They're already pointing to Trump's inexperienced kid to do so. So that's why we're going to be in for this for a long time. It's not going to go away. It's going to be something we're going to have to battle for a long time. So everybody buckle up, everybody vote, and vote on the side of democracy, and vote for people who have experience in their field, not some kid who was born into wealth.